Hey everybody, Dr. Fisher here. Today we're going to talk about daylight savings time. If you stay to the end, I'm going to give you a couple of different tools that you can use right away to be able to restabilize yourself. What happens with daylight savings time, as many of you know, either we're going to spring forward or we're going to fall back an hour, and the old premise was that we changed that according to an agricultural aspect. So farmers who needed the daylight to change, we adjusted. I didn't go back and actually look when the date that this started, but it's been going on for a long time. Now, it creates some interesting challenges in the fact that what happens is energetically, it kind of makes the body go kind of wonky because the body and or nature follows through certain cycles. And so when these cycles get a little out of whack, what happens is then we start having either physical disturbances, mental disturbances, or you just start having weird signs and symptoms. Now, there's also a lot of cost associated with transitioning for businesses and the like as they kind of transition and deal with this yearly transition back and forth. There's anecdotal ideas that, for example, the ERs are more busy on the transition time frames and whatnot because everyone's a little lethargic, we're a little out of it. I have seen my own, an N of one, I've seen in my own experience that definitely I'm a little more discombobulated in the past associated with daylight savings time because it just happened this last Sunday, I believe at 2 o'clock in the morning. But there's a few things that I do now that's different than what I did a few years back. And one of those things are really, really simple. All the things I'm going to share with you today are going to be really simple. One of them is going to be something called grounding or earthing. Many of you have probably heard of it at this point in time. The general idea is you can take your shoes and socks off and put your feet flat on the ground, and you earth with the area that you're in. And so theoretically speaking, when you take your shoes off and you put your feet on the ground, you're earthing. You're receiving the negative ions that come from the earth. And there's some utility in being able to do that, and that will, in a general sense, line you up with the energy of the place that you're in. So, for example, if you're traveling time zones, one of the things you can do is the morning that you get out of bed in the new time zone, take your shoes and socks off, go put your feet on the earth, or grounding mats are available, or grounding sheets, or grounding pillowcases. There's a variety of different ways that you can do that. So the second aspect is also energetically grounding. So in the concept in your mind, what you're going to do is you're going to think about, or you can close your eyes if it's easier for you to do this, but at the base part of your pelvis and your sacrum, in the back, what you're going to do is you're going to imagine a cord. They call this energetic grounding. You're going to imagine a cord running from the base part of your sacrum, and you're going to run it all the way down to the center of the earth. Okay? And what you're going to do with each breath, you're going to see that cord expand, a cord of light, however you want to do it. But the way I like it is you expand it with each breath until it's the same size as you, or about the size of a tree trunk. And the beauty of that is, in my own mind, when I do grounding, I have a grounding meditation I do pretty much every morning, and I imagine my feet actually physically being placed on the earth. I feel myself a little heavier, more solid, stable. It brings all the parts of you back into your body and stabilizes you and allows you to receive that earth energy from an energetic standpoint as well as a physical standpoint. Now, the other one is even simpler than that. It's what's called 2-point energy from total body modification, which is one of the systems that I use very frequently, which also resets the nervous system very, very easily. Now, there's a spleen point, or in total body modification, we call it the 5th rib interspace point. Roughly, it's mid-nipple line. You're going to come over here, and you're going to run it. You're going to rub it for about 30 seconds. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your ears and you're going to open up your ears completely and totally. Now, the ideal form of this is to be able to do this before you put your feet on the ground Sunday morning or whenever the transition time frame is. So, for example, if you just traveled yesterday and then you went and slept in a bed and you're now in a different time zone, you would do this first thing in the morning, 30 seconds. Now, for most people, it's going to feel very uncomfortable. For those who know acupuncture, it's going to be a spleen point. I believe it's spleen 21. You're going to rub it. Mine's a little tender still. And then you're going to pull on those ears. Now again, the utility of that, it's called 2-point energy and total body modification. The idea is that same idea. So total body modification kind of incorporates the physical and the energetic. So energetically, you're resetting that grounding point to the earth, to the time frame and the reference that you're in, as well as bringing all your parts back in and grounding you and stabilizing you. I find all of those to be super successful, and I use all of them. And so I highly recommend that if you're struggling a little bit this week with the daylight savings time, which most of us are, those are some real simple techniques and tools that you can use right now to be able to get some solid help. And this is your tidbit for the day. This is Dr. Fisher signing out.